Hello, dividend executives. Welcome back. The stock market is open, so you already know we are buying stocks and we're adding assets to the portfolio. This week, we are going to be buying a new asset that I have been wanting to add to the portfolio, and we are buying a pretty good amount of it. So let's take a look at the account. Let's look at the dividends. We are at the end of February, so we'll take a look at the spreadsheet and see how we ended up. And the account is up for the day, so we're up 0.39%, up to $17,487. For the week, we're up $743, or 4.44%. For the month, up $1,199, or 7.36%. So not bad. We have some buying power available. Some of the stocks have been coming back, and things are looking good. So what do? We just keep buying assets. One thing I want to look at is, of course, our dividends. We have a couple that are coming through. Some of the March stuff has already come through as well. But I'll just scroll through these. We've already gone through them a little bit this month, but I'll scroll through them for anybody that is just visiting for the first time. So for February, obviously, we started it off per usual with our JEP-B, JEP-Q, and QQQY. And I'll just go through this. The yield max are heavy hitters. We talked about what we're going to be doing with those later. But we'll save that for another video. And then we ended off with some of our REITs. We have Maine, O, and then SBHD coming in. As for next month, we already see this will be our first dividend payment on XOM or ExxonMobil, and then PSEC. As usual, PSEC is continuing to come up. I'm actually curious, what did we get in PSEC last month? Or I should say this month. It's not the next month yet. 252. So we went from 252 to 280. We love to see that growth there. But that's where we're at. So those are the dividends for the month. I like to be fully transparent. I like to show what we're doing in the account. So that is what we have going on in the account. And the new position we're going to be adding today is going to be XYLD. These are kind of older. They're obviously pretty huge on the internet. A lot of people have rotated out of these. They don't move a whole lot, but I wanted to have a little bit of exposure to the or I'm sorry, not XYLD. That's going to be probably for later. RYLD. For the Russell 2000, we have the S&P 500. We have the NASDAQ 100. And there's a lot of funds, right? So these global funds, they have the Russell 2000, and then which is RYLD. They have XYLD, which is the S&P 500, and they have QYLD, which is the NASDAQ 100. We already are covered on the basis for the S&P 500 with SBHD. And then we're already covered with JEP-Q and JEP-B on the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500. And I wanted a little bit exposure to the Russell 2000. But of course, you know me, I want to have the dividends come in from that as well. So we are going to be adding to the Global X Russell 2000 covered call income ETF. This is a very flat stock. If we look at it for the year, it's down 13%. For 5 years, it's down 34%. So not great. But to be fair, if we look at something like IWM, let's pull that up, and we look at that over the last year, it's pretty flat as well. I mean, only up 7.9%, 5 year up 27%. It's a pretty flat stock, right? So, I mean, we've chopped around in this 170 to 200 range for a long time. So I want to have a little bit of exposure to it. We didn't have any yet, so we're going to add a little bit. And I added some extra money this week. And so I'm going to be doing 250 into this. So we have our regular 100 and then I added an extra couple bucks there. So we now have 15 shares. So 15 shares of RYLD. Of course, per usual, we have some options on the table. This is actually a good thing. This TSL call, we have it at the 1173. TSL is coming up to 1072. I would hope it gets to 1173. That would be fantastic. That just means our shares are appreciating. So this call is not looking fantastic right now, but we still got $44 and we have plenty of time, right? So this was sold for the 15th. So we have all the way till the 15th. And then the Mara puts, these ones should be just fine. Right now we're up 63% on this. For some reason, this must be showing... Oh, let's go to total return. Yeah, so we're up $21 on the Mara one. We're down $8 on the TSLL one, but that's good because that means our shares appreciated. So that's the options on this one. And then per usual, we have our heavy hitters in SHD, VTI, JEP-B, JEP-Q, and VYM. So that's where we're sitting. We just added RYLD to the account, and we love to see that. RYLD, 15 shares, average cost $16.44. And then obviously, as you just saw, Our biggest down is TSLL. But I think this will come back. We got to sign on some options. We're down 16%, but I just keep selling options every single week, and I keep collecting income, and it's paying a nice little dividend. If to be honest with you, so if you look at the history in this one, yeah, so there's $44 there. This call option expired worthless. This one expired worthless. So each and every single week, I sell some calls on this. They expire worthless, and we collect some premium. So we just keep doing that, and that's the account. So let's jump over to the spreadsheet. Let's take a look at something. And I also want to take a look at RYLD, right? Of course, we get an ad. So RYLD annual dividend $1.95. So if we were to take that, we do the 1.95 times the 15 shares. We just added ourselves roughly $30 in dividends a year. If we're going to break that down, let's do this. Let's break it down, and we'll do 0.1632 times the 15 shares. We just added $2.44 to our monthly dividends, which is pretty sweet. And you can see that they're pretty consistent, right? Obviously, they used to pay a little bit higher, but also a little bit lower. So we went from the 20 cents to the 24 to the 25, back down to the 19, 17s, and now we're in the 16s. So it does look like it's been kind of on the downward. But when a stock's flat, there's not a whole lot of premium in it, and you might see that, right? So that's where we're sitting with that. I like the position. I like the 11.85% is basically a 1% a month. If we can get 1% a month, that's fantastic. That's around our historic average for the portfolio. And I like having a little bit of exposure to the Russell 2000. I do think that when we get into an interest rate bearing environment where they're starting to actually finally drop the interest rates, I think it'll do well for a lot of the small cap funds. And so I'm hoping we have a rally in IWM and some of the Russell stocks going into the end of the year when we start cutting rates, hopefully by the summer. So that's the play, and that's why I'm adding to RYLD. I told everybody once I started getting paid by YouTube that I would pick a fund, and I'm going to put all of my YouTube earnings into this. I did it a little bit prematurely. I think I've only made like $100 posting like 200 videos so far, so really great return. But I'm just going to start putting some of the money that I make from YouTube and from you guys that support me into RYLD, and I'm just going to let it drip, and I'm going to let it grow, and we're going to see how it goes. So that's RYLD. And then last but not least, we're going to jump into the spreadsheet. We're going to take a look at where we ended for the month. We have a little bit, we saw XOM coming in for XOM coming in for March, but February is done, right? The only thing we have left is potentially Devo at the end of the month. We still have a couple of days left in the month, so that could come in, but we're pretty much right on track where we thought we would be, right in that 190, 195 range. And we are happy about it, right? I mean, we went from 204 last month to 190, 195 this month. And I honestly think we're going to do 250 next month. So it's pretty cool. I'm in that race to get $1,000 a month. It's going to take probably a couple of years to get to $1,000 a month in passive income, but I think we can do it. And slowly but surely we're going to get there, right? So this is the end of the year. Last year, we ended at 192. We are going to beat the 192 from December. And I want these reds to look bigger than blues the entire year, and we should be able to easily do it. The more money I add each and every single week, the bigger this is going to get. And I have started thinking about maybe even taking some of my Bitcoin profits. Bitcoin hit over 60,000 today, and maybe moving some of them into the dividend account as well. But as you know, my whole purpose in this is to show how we can slowly build this just regular 9 to 5, putting $100 here, $100 there. So I don't want to turbocharge this account too fast because I want it to be realistic for the average investor. So that's what we're doing. We're adding to the account each and every single week. This is the stocks we bought this week. RYLD for the Russell 2000 is a covered call fund. It averages roughly 1% a month, and it'll be a nice, $2.50 added. Let me edit this. We're gonna do XYLD is one I was looking at as well. We're gonna do RYLD. Boom. So we'll see how that goes. And then as you know, there's some other changes coming to the account as well. But that's for the update for this week. That's the update for the month. That is how much we made on a $17,000 account in the month of February, 1 year after we created this. Last year in February, we were stacked up at 81 cents in dividends. And it's cool to see how far you can come in 1 year. So January, we had 0 last year. January this year, we had 204. February last year, 81 cents. This year, $190.14 with 1 still pending. And then to beat March of last year, we have to beat $8.87, and I definitely know we're going to blow that out of the water. So that's what we got for the week. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. As always, I appreciate the support, and happy investing. We'll catch you next week.